So I've just heard some crazy things about Candace, and whilst they're not yet verified, they would make a lot of sense this is true. And I know we said we would stop talking about her, but she's come out with more ridiculous anti-Jew, anti-Israel hatred lies, blatant lies. And by the way, this is just an interesting fact. You know how you can identify if someone's lying? There's two main things that they do. Just, you should all know this. Number one, they go like this. They look away because they can't make eye contact with you when they're lying. And number two, they do this. They might touch their nose. Okay, this is one of like the two most obvious ways to know that you're lying. Just for entertainment, next time if you do plan on ever watching her again, which I wouldn't recommend, watch how many times she does this during her. It's mind-boggling. But first, let's see the latest wonderful lies that Candace has to spew on us, and then talk about the crazy things that we found out. But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please, 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 if you're watching this, just subscribe to the channel. That's all you have to do. It helps us grow. It helps us do all the things that we're trying to do out there. And we know that 85% of you aren't yet subscribed. So please, for me, I appreciate it tremendously. Let's dive right in and prepare ourselves, because once again, our ears are going to hurt from the ringing noise of the Candace machine.
About 48 hours before Charlie Kirk died, Charlie informed people at Turning Point, as well as Jewish donors and a rabbi, that he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause outright, okay?
Okay, number one, she's talking about the Jewish donors, which we've now seen disputed on multiple accounts that Turning Point does not have a lot of Jewish donors. So she's making it sound like all of Turning Point is funded by the Jewish donors and Charlie's about to lose all of his funding. We know this to be factually incorrect, but surprise, surprise, 48 hours before he spoke to a rabbi, actually the rabbi that he spoke to, which I had a conversation with, didn't corroborate any of this fact. Actually, it sounds like in the hours before he died, he was trying to figure out how to fight anti-Semitism. That was the most of the conversations he was having, interestingly enough.
Charlie was done. He said it explicitly that he refused to be bullied anymore by the Jewish donors. Can you guys answer? Did he express that? Did he also express that he wanted to bring me, Candace Owens, back because he was standing up for himself? And then did he, just 48 hours later, conveniently catch a bullet to the throat?
I mean, if we're talking about convenience, isn't it so convenient that he was trying to bring you back, but no one knew about it just before he died, despite the fact that there's evidence that he hasn't spoken to you in years. And yes, you were invited to some kind of event in Turning Point in 2024, but that's because Charlie Kirk, as we know, really believed in free speech, but he didn't believe in you. Like, we know that. We've seen the evidence. We know it's clear. He didn't like you anymore, Candace. Just suck it up, Buttercup. He didn't like you. Charlie was over you. He couldn't understand the fascination with you, but he believed in free speech. So he allowed you to still have a platform. And this brings to a really interesting question, which I've been wondering to myself, why does Turning Point still have this picture of Candace on all of their content when she's spewing so much hatred directly towards Turning Point? For those unfamiliar, she's making crazy claims like Turning Point maybe are the ones who actually killed him, and all, everything's very suspicious that's going on. And Turning Point, I want answers from Turning Point. However, and we'll explain this in a second, it seems that Turning Point's not actually capable of responding. And I'll tell you why.
Before our onstage reunion could happen. It's a yes or a no. Yeah, I'm putting the fire here right at the feet of Turning Point because I am disgusted.
Do you see how this is what she does? This is just what she does. We were supposed to have this enormous reunion. She throws out a lie and an allegation that nobody can actually dispute or confirm. And then she'll be like, I am disgusted. I am revolted. I am so shocked. As if her emotional reality gives her legitimacy to attack Turning Point. Now, I can tell you one thing, and I can tell you this thing for sure. If there was one thing that Charlie Kirk loved, not just his wife Erica, it was Turning Point. He loved it. It was his entire life mission, everything that he built out. And right now, she's managing to turn them into the enemy against Charlie because of her own agendas. She's taking everybody so off course. This is what she does. She manipulates you into thinking. She provides a fact that you can't prove or disprove. Look, I was supposed to be reunited with him, but we all know that there's no way to act. No one knows if that happened, even though it's very, very unlikely. If there was actually going to be a massive Turning Point reunion with Candace, it would have been plastered everywhere, or at least leaked somewhere. Somebody would have said something. Then she turns the guilt and the anger away from her and the confusion towards a party that she's assumed is the wrong one, but she doesn't actually provide any of the evidence, and she provides her emotional frustration as proof and legitimacy for her doing so.
I am genuinely disgusted. I am looking around and wondering whether Charlie's entire life was the Truman Show. None of you guys are behaving in the way that you should be behaving, okay? There is no way you are letting these lies fly. unless, as I am hearing, unless it is true that there was a big payday that was on the line. And if Charlie radically stated that he was done with Israel, if Charlie said he had no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause because of, and I quote, Jewish donors, the behavior of Jewish donors, if he said that, yes or no, well then, I don't know, maybe some people didn't want to take that risk that he was going to become Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson at Turning Point USA with all of those presences, so much presence across college campuses. Maybe they didn't want to take the chance. And I will say this, you know what? Somewhere Charlie is watching, okay? And I hope he knows that we are reunited, okay? We're on stage right now, and the Jewish donors are very angry about it, extremely angry about it.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on this. And so we just know that this is the thing that Candace tends to do over and over and over again. She throws out some sort of a lie, but from what I understand, actually, Turning Point is a little bit under NDA to respond to everything that's going on with Candace. And whilst I'm waiting for the concrete proof, because I don't try and do what Candace does, which is throw out these crazy allegations, this actually makes a lot of sense to me. It would make sense to me that Turning Point haven't properly responded to everything that she's saying, either because they're just trying to disregard it, but more probably that there was some kind of legal agreement that they had. Look, whenever you have a company, Daily Wire, for example, and a big public split off, it tends to come with a lot of legal documentation, which makes sure that either parties are not going to go and besmirch and hate upon each other. Normal. Turning Point and Candace seem to definitely at some point have had some kind of blow up. Something happened there. And there's a reason, in my opinion, that it hasn't been public. And it would make so much sense to me that there is an NDA and some sort of legal documentation that Candace had to stay on their promotional material. Oh my gosh, I just touched my nose. That's because my nose is itching. That Candace has to stay on their promotional material, or in addition, that they are not allowed to say negative things or expose anything. And that would make sense to me. That would be a good reason that they're under NDA, that they're just not responding to what she's doing. Now, where it gets even more manipulative, which is if that is true, if there is, oh my gosh, my nose is actually itching me. This is so embarrassing. If there actually is an NDA, Candace getting up there and being on camera and being like, Turning Point, you need to respond to me, when she knows that legally they can't respond to her, is going to be a double win for her. Number one, if they don't respond, then everybody's going to be like, why isn't they responding? Candace must have a point. But if they do respond, she can then legally sue the living daylights out of them. So she wins in both directions. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, now it all makes more sense. Again, do I know for a fact that she has been NDA'd by them? No. But do I know what the normal measures are, that when somebody leaves a company or when somebody is involved in some sort of escalation, they tend to do NDAs and kind of non-competing agreements? Yes, that is normal. And so I'm interested in that. And I think that might be really, I don't know, might answer a lot of our questions as to why Candace is out there just lying nonstop and making this all about the Jewish donors, which Turning Point have clarified multiple times. No, it's not about the Jewish donors. There weren't really Jewish donors. Charlie was pro-Israel. He was supporting Israel. All these things aligned. She's like, there's a Truman Show. Everything about his life's a Truman Show. I think she's having a mental breakdown. And I'm going to show you guys this video, and you tell me if you think she's having a mental breakdown at this point.
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
I feel traumatized. Let's watch it again. Let's watch it again, everybody.
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
Again, just one more time.
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
Yeah. Anyways, I think that kind of gives us everything we need to understand who's the more sane one here. Again, remember, every time you watch a Candace video, she tells you that she's so angry. She has a right to be angry because she's the only one who cares. She might be overcompensating for something. And right now it seems that that thing might be a little bit of a mental derangement, if you ask me. Thank you for your attention to this matter.